Okay, we are going to look at section 7.3. In 7.1 and 7.2, we bought assets and figured out the depreciation tables for them. In 7.3, we are looking at the accounting work for disposing of assets or selling the assets or trading in the assets. Okay, so basically, we need to go through some steps to work with accumulated depreciation as well. So the first thing we need to do when we're going to dispose or sell, dispose, or trade, really, the first thing is to complete the plant asset record. There's a section on there for us to put the information about the disposal or the sale, and we also need to update the depreciation from the end of the previous year to whenever it is we're selling it during this current year, those couple of months. Okay, and then the second thing we're going to do is update the depreciation in the journal. Okay, so we're going to journalize accumulated depreciation and depreciation expense for the portion of the year that's needed. Okay, and this will be in the general journal. Okay, and then the third thing we're going to do is remove the asset from the records. Okay, so when we bought it, we put it in as an asset. We're selling it, we need to get it off of our books as an asset. Okay, and we'll get rid of the accumulated depreciation as well. All right, so we're going to go through this process. We're still going to need our plant asset records from 7.1. So you'll need to have those out as well, and then all of the working papers for 7.3, which will be a general journal, a cash receipts journal, a cash payments journal, and then a couple of more plant asset records for the desk and the truck. Okay? All right, so the first thing that our actual working together problem asks us to do is discard a printer on January 6th. Okay, so if we look at the printer's plant asset record, okay, and this is all during 2005. All right, so let's remember that this is all not 2005, 20X5. Okay, if we look at the plant asset record for the printer, we already have it valued at 0. We did that through year 3. Okay, its estimated useful life was 3 years. Well, we're into 2000 or 20X5 at this point, but we still have the printer. But now we're ready to get rid of the printer. Okay, so we don't have to worry about updating the depreciation because we're already down to 0. All right, but we do need to fill out this little section here in the middle for the discard. Okay, so we're disposing it on January 6th of 20X5. Okay, and we're just discarding it. We're not selling it. We're not trading it. We're just getting rid of it. It's probably broken and unrepairable. Okay, and the disposal amount is 0. Okay, so that just updates our plant asset record. Now, when we look at this, we can file it away in a sold or discarded file, but we at least have the record, right? We'll hold on to this, and we have proof, well, we have notation at least, that we have gotten rid of it. Okay, so that's step number 1, complete the plant asset record. Step number 2, again, we didn't have any depreciation that we needed to update. Again, and this is updating. Okay. Now we just need to remove the asset from the record. So we will need the general journal. Okay. And this is for January 6th. This is 20x5. January 6th. The accumulated depreciation is $840. The original cost was $840. So those are the two things that we have to use to discard it. We put this on our books as $840 way back at the beginning. Okay, we've been keeping, and so we need to get that off. So it was a debit to our asset of office equipment when we bought it. Now we're going to credit it to remove it. Okay, and then we've been adding our depreciation every year, our accumulated depreciation, and so that's not relevant anymore either. So we're just reversing that number as well. Okay, so each time at the end of each year, we've always done a credit to accumulated depreciation. Now we're just going to debit it to remove that amount from our books. Okay, so accumulated depreciation for office equipment. $840, and just office equipment, because it's just the asset as a whole, for $840. Okay, and this is memo 165. All right. And then we can put a little note over here. So what we're doing, so you can come back to this and see that this is actually, let's do discard asset. Okay. And that way, so if you need to come back and reference, you can see what the transaction looks like just to discard something. All right. The next transaction, March 29th, we received cash for the sale of a conveyor table. We received $500. Okay, so this time we're selling something, and it's the conveyor table. So let's grab our plant asset record for the conveyor table. Okay, so number 1, complete the plant asset record. We're going to update the depreciation on the plant asset record, and then we'll journalize it. Okay. All right. So March 29th is the day we're getting rid of it. 20x5. This one is a sale, and we're selling it for $500. Okay. Now 20x5 is the year we're in. We have to update our depreciation. 3 years. We only got our 3 months into the year. So we just need to do depreciation for January, February, and March. All right, so 3 months. So 320, because 320 is our yearly depreciation, divided by 12, 26.6666 times 3 months gives me 79.99999. We're going to keep it simple and make that 80. Okay, so this is 3 months, January, February, and March. Okay, and this right here is when we're selling it. Okay, so now 1200 plus the 80, 1280 is our depreciation, accumulated depreciation, and our ending book value, 600 minus 80 gives us 520. Okay, so our book value, what we think this item is worth, is $520 according to our calculations. But we sold it for $500. Okay, so there's a difference there. So when we sell things, we could sell it for the exact amount that we think it's worth. Makes things simple, but sometimes we don't. And we could have a gain on that plan asset, or we could have a loss on that plan asset. And those are actual account titles in our chart of accounts. Okay, so we've updated our record. Now we need to journalize the depreciation and the depreciation expense for that portion of the year. Okay, so this $80. So back to our general journal. For March 29th. This is depreciation expense. And this is what we've done at the end of every year. It's just now we have to do it mid-year because we're selling it. For warehouse equipment. And then our accumulated depreciation. Warehouse equipment. Oops. And this is just the $80. And this is memo 182. Okay, this is updating. Okay, and we're going to do this a couple times, so we'll leave it a little bit out. But this is to update accumulated depreciation at time of a cash sale or trade. Okay, and we'll have a couple, so we'll mark that again in just a second. Okay, this is just updating it. Now we're ready to remove the asset from the record. Okay, so we actually received cash, right? We sold it, so we received $500 cash. So we're going to need our cash receipts journal. And this is happening on 20x5, March 29th. Okay. Now, when we're doing this, you kind of have to keep all the debits and credits equal. You got to make sure you're keeping them equal. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to remove the asset. Oh goodness. And we will need to credit with a credit. Okay? Because we added the asset with a debit, we're going to remove it with a credit. We need to remove accumulated depreciation for that asset. And we've always credited it, so that's a debit. Okay? We're going to receive cash. Okay, and we receive cash, of course that's a cash debit. And then we got to see if there's a loss or a gain. So the what we think our book value is the difference between what we paid for it and what our depreciation is. So our depreciation is at $1280. Okay, we paid $1,800 for it. Okay, and so we think again that our asset is worth $520. Okay, but we only received $500. So right now my debits don't equal my credits. Right? So $1280 plus $500. I shouldn't even have to add that up, but okay, so $1780. So I'm $20. I need another debit of $20. Okay, that is a loss. Okay, so now I've got 3 debits and 1 credit. So now I can get all this in here. All right, so I need to debit accumulated depreciation, because we always want to get our debits in there first, right? For the warehouse equipment. The boxes are getting smaller because we got more columns over here. I need to debit cash. Oh wait, let me get this in. Debit for $12.80. I need to debit cash for $500 because that's the amount of cash that we received. Okay, and I need to debit the loss on plant asset. Okay, for $20. And then I need to credit the warehouse equipment. And this will be for the full amount that we originally bought it for. Okay? So now let's look at this. This is our accumulated depreciation. Okay? It was $1,200 through 20x4 plus the $80 for the 3 months of 20x5. Oh, y'all can't see that. There we go. Okay, this is the original cost. Okay, this is cash received. Alright, and then of course your loss is because we sold it for $500 even though we said it was worth $520. Okay, and then that way in that one transaction, all of our debits equal all of our credits. Okay. So let's see. One thing to remember is the original minus accumulated depreciation equals our book value, and that's what we think it's worth. Okay? That's our worth. Okay, make sure all the debits equal all the credits. Important piece there. And then when we have losses and gains, I like to think of a loss kind of like an expense. Okay, a loss is going to be a debit, a gain is going to be a credit. Kind of think about it like revenue and expense. Okay. All right. So moving on. The next transaction, June 25th, received cash for the sale of a desk. All right. So again, going through the steps that we need to go through first. Complete the plan asset record. So we need to find our desk plan asset record, which is actually a 7-3 page. Okay. And they already had all this filled out for us through 20x4. So now we need to do it for the current year and the disposal of. So June 25th is our date. 20x5. We are selling it, and we are selling it for $600. Okay, so depreciation, now we're looking at January through June, so that's 6 months in 20x5. Alright, so annual depreciation is $200 divided by 12. Times 6 99, so we're going to make it an even 100. Okay, 1,100 will be our new accumulated depreciation. And our new value will be 400. Okay, and so notice here we're not getting all the way to the end of the life before we're selling it, but we are selling it for $600. So now we're actually going to have a gain of 200, right? We think it's worth 400. We're going to sell it for 600. We're going to have a gain. So we'll record that here in just a little bit. Okay. So now that we've completed our plan asset record, we need to go ahead and update and journalize the depreciation for that 6 months. So go back to your general journal. And on June 25th, depreciation expense. And the desk is office equipment. Okay, accumulated depreciation for office equipment. And that 6 months was $100. And that was memo 195. Okay, that's step number 2. We updated the depreciation in our journal and kind of got to update it so we can take it off, but it's just the way it goes. All right, and then step number 3 is to remove the asset from the record. So we are receiving cash. So we got to go back to cash receipts. And on June 25th, we've got a gain this time. So that'll be a credit. Our accumulated depreciation is still going to be our debit. Okay. Again, we usually, when we are recording it, we're usually putting it in as credit. So when we're taking it all off, it's got to be the debit. And again, this is office equipment. Okay, and this is the total accumulated depreciation. So if we go back, oh, I didn't even write that. I said it, but I didn't write it down right, did I? 1,100. That's our total. So we'll take that off. 1,100. Okay. We are receiving $600 in cash. Okay. I'm already determined that we're going to have a gain on the plan asset of $200. And then we've got to remove the actual asset. So that's under office equipment. And the original cost is $1,500. Okay? And so again, if you don't kind of do the math ahead of time, you can plug these numbers in. You know what the accumulated depreciation is, you know what you sold it for, you know what the original cost was. So do the math. Okay? The original minus the depreciation is the book, and this is what you got it for. Then you could put in, maybe put that in later. Is it the loss or the gain? Is it a debit or a credit? Okay? So let's go ahead and make a little note over here, kind of a bigger note. These were sold for cash. Okay? This one's a gain. This one's a loss. Just so you can see the difference there. And you've got a little note, so you can come back and look at it. Okay? All right. Next one, December 27th. Paid cash $23,000 plus the old truck for a new truck, and then it has all of our numbers on there. Okay? So basically, we're going to trade in an old truck and then put some extra cash in there for our new truck. Okay? So Let's see. I gotta find my right piece of paper. All right. So first thing is complete the plan asset record. So find your, that's with Desk. This is one they also did for us on 7-3. Here's this truck. Okay, they filled all this in for us. They did the depreciation through 20X4. So now on December 27th, we are going to trade it. Okay, and the disposal amount, we're going to tell it to go look at number 392. Okay, and I'm thinking we need to do another plan asset record. Let's see, 392 for the new truck. But we don't have 7-3. No. Okay. I guess we don't have a plan asset record to fill out for that. If we do, I am missing it. But anyway, this is just saying refer to 392 for the value of the new truck. Okay? All right. For 20X5, because it was December 27th, it's the full year's depreciation. Okay, so this is 12 months. So we'll depreciate another 5,400. So 18,900 would be a new accumulated depreciation, and 13,100 will be our new book value. Okay, so this is what we think that the old truck is worth. Okay, so we'll need to use that here in just a second. So now we've completed the plan asset record. Go ahead, we need to go ahead and journalize the accumulated depreciation for the whole year, basically. So December 27th, depreciation expense. And this is warehouse equipment, being a truck. So M256 and 5400. Accumulated depreciation. Warehouse equipment. Okay, 45400. Okay, and then once we've done that, we can remove the asset from our records. But this time, we're actually having to pay extra, right? We're actually having to write a check to pay the extra $23,000. So it's going to actually go in cash payments. Okay, so for 20X5, December 27th. We don't have to worry about gain or loss. This will be warehouse equipment, but this is going to be the new. And you don't need to label it this for real, but this is more like a note to us that this is the new truck. Okay? This piece right here. All right, but what we have to figure out is what the new truck is actually worth. Because we gave them the old truck plus $23,000. So we take what the old truck is worth plus the 23 to get what the new truck is worth. All right, and then we have to get rid of, take off the accumulated depreciation, warehouse, equipment, and then actual warehouse equipment. I don't know why I indented that. I really didn't need to. Or I should have indented both, I guess, but just don't want to confuse you. Okay. And really, these are the old truck that we're taking off. We're removing it here. Okay? So, accumulated depreciation, again, I know it's 18,900. Taking that off, taking off the original cost. Again, from our plant asset record, we can see that that's 32,000. The original cost. Okay, so this again is removing the old, the debit and the credit. Okay, we know that we had paid $23,000. Okay, so we know that our book value, either by doing the math here or looking here, is 13,100. 13,100. That's the value of our old truck plus the amount of cash, 23,000, gives us 36,100. So that is the value of the new truck. 36,100. Okay, and again, making sure all the debits equal all the credits for that transaction. Okay. So we're adding the new truck. We're taking off the old truck. Okay. Of course, that's accumulated depreciation. The original. I don't know. Should we do the math up here so you can see it? We did the 32,000 minus the 18,900. Gives us the book value of 13,100. This is the value of the old. Plus the cash that we paid equals 36,100, which is the value of the new. Okay, so this is a trade plus cash. Oh, there we go. I don't know how much that you couldn't see. So let me leave that there for just a second. You can pause if you need to. I'm afraid I was writing off the screen. Maybe I wasn't, but maybe I was. Okay? All right. One more transaction is selling the warehouse. So just remember that the warehouse is a building plus land. So we need the plant asset record for the building and for the land. So let's grab those. Because I've got so many papers I gotta. Okay, I'm gonna leave that there. Alright, so here's the building. Again, we are 20x5. I'm just gonna mark this so we know what we're doing right now. 20x5. We sold it on the 29th, so we're gonna get a full year. Okay, so on December 29th, 20x5, we're going to sell. And it says we sold it for $273,400. So $273,400 plus the land, which is asset record number 342. Okay, just so note-wise we can know that those are actually going to be kept together. Okay, So another $8,000 in depreciation. 26 plus 8, 34,000 will be our new accumulated depreciation, and our new book value of the building is 191,000. Okay. All right. So we updated the plan asset. We need to journalize and update the depreciation for the year for 20X5, December 29th. Depreciation expense, building, and accumulated depreciation, building, and this was memo 258 for $8,000. Okay, so now we can kind of mark all of this was to update accumulated depreciation at the time of the sale. Okay. All right. So that's step number 2. Number 3, remove the asset from the record. Okay. Again, cash receipts. We sold it. We're receiving the cash. And this is December 29th. Okay, again, accumulated depreciation is coming off for building. Okay, we know that's going to always be the debit. Looking at our plan asset record, it's $34,000. Okay. We're selling it, so we might want to wait and see, or do we have a gain, do we have a loss, we're not sure, but that would go in the next line. And then we've got to remove the asset for the building. What did we buy the building for? You can go back to your plant asset record. We bought the building for $225,000. Okay, and there was land that was with it. Okay, so the land was $75,000. Okay, and then we know that we got $273,400. $273,400. Okay, so if we take the original cost, 225,000 plus 75,000, that's our 300,000, minus 34,000 equals 266,000. Okay, but so that's what we think the building is worth. 266,000. Okay, we sold it for this much. That means there was a gain, right? So a gain on plant asset. Okay, and gain acts like a revenue. And then we do the math. 7,400. Okay, so now all my debits are going to equal all my credits. Okay, so kind of looking at this one, our value, make sure y'all can see that, was the 225,000 plus the land minus 34,000 equals 266,000. Okay, received cash of 273,400, which left us a gain of 7,400. All right, so a lot there. Ask questions if you need help. Hopefully we got things in there that will help you come back to this if you need to. Make more notes as you go through. Tell me about them. Tell me what else I should add to this if I need to make it better next time. All right? But hopefully we've got that marked. Let's see what here. This is selling a building and land. Let's go ahead and mark this right here. Selling building plus land. Okay, so that's doing all the accounting work to sell, trade, or dispose of for working together 7-3.